All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else? And in today's video, I decided to do my first podcast ever on my Twitch channel, and in that podcast, I attempted to convince a Carebear to try Ashes of Creation when it goes live. Now, I'll admit I don't have a lot of Carebear friends at the ready, but this one so happens to be my wife, and we live under the same roof. And so it was pretty easy to get her to come on stream and talk to us about, her gaming stuff, and have her watch the freehold reveal and see if this type of content would be something that she would be interested in. Now, there's a lot of reasons I did this. Number one, when I watched the freehold reveal, like I said in my video, I came away impressed, but also knowing that this type of content isn't the type of content that's for me. I'm a lot more PvP focused. Freehold for me is a means to an end. I don't really care too much about doing anything outside of improving my gear, having max level potions or equipment or whatever, so that I can continue to PvP at a high level. That's basically what it is for me. But other types of players would really enjoy this content. And one of them I thought was my wife. The other reason I wanted to do this is there's always been healthy debate in Ashes of Creation on Discords, on YouTube, on Twitch. A lot of healthy debate has happened, and I feel like it's done a good job of molding this game to a point where it is now, because the developers truly listen to the community, and they listen to earnest feedback, and they try to make iterations and improvements as we go along. And I think that's great. However, like anything else, there have also been arguments in bad faith, and one of them was talking about the corruption system last year. And so there was a few bigger streamers that picked up the entire, the corruption system always on PvP is going to be bad because griefing, because of this, and this system is exactly like this game from 10 years ago, and therefore, because of all this, nobody's going to play this game, and nobody's going to like this game, and you will quit. And that was the gist. Now, I'm not here to go too much into the corruption system. All I'm trying to say is that the system exists, and they want to make sure that this is going to be a way to attempt to deter players. And because this system exists, it is different than games that came out 10 plus years ago, because those games didn't have these systems. And so, yes, it can still fail, but not talking about the system in the way it currently is once again, like I'm trying to say, speaking in bad faith. You can have your doubts, you can have your concerns, but saying that they don't exist or not acknowledging them and saying that the mass amount of players will quit because these things are a way that they're not is operating in bad faith. And so I got a lot of discussion on one of the videos I did last year, and people were like, yeah, I'm not playing this game, it's always on PvX, like I'm gonna get grief. But I was like, wow, okay, well, what would happen if I talked to somebody that wasn't lied to on YouTube? They weren't lied to by their favorite streamer about what the game is, and I tried to explain what the system currently is, what they're trying to do, and then see if they would still be interested in a PvX environment regardless of the systems that currently exist. And so that's what I did on my podcast. My wife is admittedly more of a Carebear style player. She's not PvP oriented. I'd like to consider we're all on a spectrum, and some of us are more on the PvP ended spectrum, and some of us more are on the quests and crafting and harvesting, collecting style spectrum. And she's more on the latter. She likes to do those things. She does PvP, but it's not her main focus. And so you'll see throughout this video that those sorts of things pop up. And so I decided to talk to her about Ashes and show her the live stream and get her honest opinion. Now, I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. We have a pretty honest relationship with each other, to where if she didn't like something, she has no problem telling me in front of a bunch of viewers that she doesn't like it. And so I was really excited to get her reaction. And so, yeah, we dive into it and we start talking about favorite games, and we start talking about Ashes of Creation and how it's going to start, as well as the corruption system. And she had questions about that, which I think initially highlight, her concerns about this type of PvP format. So the point with bringing this up is you're not PvP focused at all. Like, you'll play PvP, but you're not looking for PvP, whereas my games revolve around playing PvP.
Yes.
Would you say that's correct?
Correct.
And so, wanted to ask you about Ashes, what you know about Ashes of Creation. It won't be as... I don't think you can go on a rant on this one, but we'll find out.
I do have one question before we get started. You can literally just say it will be covered later when we watch this video.
Sure.
Because as I'm sure everybody understands, I have not watched this video yet. This Ashes of Creation PvP situation.
They call it PvX, so it's player versus environment.
Got it. PvX. Is there some type of a way where everyone starts on the same level?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
When you start in the game, you all start on the same level, and you progress and level up your character as you go through.
And so, in this environment, if like someone's like really, really leveled up, and then I decide I want to start playing, is it scaled so that I can actually participate in the fight? Put up a good front, at least? As
it stands right now, it is not scaled.
Okay.
And so you have a choice to fight back or not.
Okay.
And so what they have is, I don't want to go too deep into detail on this, but all I want to say is there's penalties in place for high-level players like that to attack potentially low-level characters like you.
Got it.
So the main risk, one of the biggest risks is, if one of these high-level characters wants to attack you, they can do that. But what they do is they raise their corruption level. If their corruption gets if their corruption gets really high, they can lose their armor when they get killed.
Interesting.
They can they can have their gear taken away from them.
Got it.
So I go into detail and I try to explain more succinctly what the system is and what they're trying to do. Obviously, it can still fail. I'm not saying that it's going to succeed, but this is the goal in mind. Also, trying to reinforce the fact that Stephen Sharif has come out and said, yes, if you were targeting the same person over and over again, it goes against our terms of service, and yeah, that doesn't fly. And so those types of targeted harassment, bullying, intimidation, griefing, whatever you want to say, is something that they're actively monitoring. Now, whether they do or they don't, we'll have to see when it goes live, but it's worth mentioning that this does actually exist. And so we go on and we watch the Freehold presentation. And admittedly, she gets a little bored. And I realized I was a little surprised at this. I don't know why, but it clicked on to me later that I am obsessed with the reveals, and like I'm watching all the content and I'm absorbing everything. And she's not somebody actively interested in Ashes. And so watching a presentation of a game you're not really interested in would leave somebody feeling, a little bit bored when you get into the more brass tacks, the further details further on. She's like, yeah, I know what freeholds are. I know what they're about. Let's go on to the next thing.
Thank you.
So this is actually like the live video.
Okay. I hate to move forward, but like I kind of get the concept, right? So
And so it's like, all right, fine. I'll keep this passion project to myself, but yeah, let's move on to the next part. And so we watch the actual reveal of what a freehold is and where it's at. And yeah, she came away pretty impressed. There was a few things that she wanted to critique, Steven, if you watch this video. Number one is she's not a fan of your harvesting.
Magical.
What are these blue things, though?
Wow, this is a
beautiful
resource. Now, Bucky, I know why you made.
Well,
your
I mean, I
freehold.
know
this
it's a
is
resource, but do we know what this resource is? Because he's
Another
just walking by it. He's not. He's not mining it.
He will
You ever
farm
get,
it. It's an
like,
ore.
Afraid of heights here? I mean, this is kind of crazy.
I'm just a little frustrated that he walked by
actually
all of
I might
it
have something
and
that could
he
help you
didn't.
with this. Hold on.
He didn't mine it. Yes.
Better crop rotations.
Wait,
and
why?
Just
Hang on a
generally
second. Can we
farm
pause?
things that's
Can we
unique.
pause? He just farmed like 3 wheat crops, and now he's leaving. He's got a whole row of wheat to farm, and he's leaving.
He's doing a presentation.
I don't care. Ooh,
Yeah, you can
tomatoes.
just empty out and store it here in my chest for now,
Are
so you
these
can go out.
tomato plants?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to harvest these.
I swear to God,
Oh,
if they go to this scene
here.
and they don't harvest all those tomatoes,
very nice.
yeah, they're not harvesting the tomatoes.
Well, you got them at least, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
It's her belief that you should have harvested everything. You should have harvested all of the ore. You should have harvested all of the wheat. You should have harvested all of the corn. I try to tell her otherwise, but collector's gonna collect, and I guess you failed in that department. This is a joke, guys. I'm just playing, but yeah. Overall, she came away pretty impressed with the freehold thing and like working with a team and doing these sorts of things. And I explained to her not everybody is going to get them. I tried to explain to her as well. My perspective is that the game doesn't stop once you get them either. And you don't have to be PvP heavy or anything like that, because you're going to be able to get these through different nodes. And honestly, there could be a very diplomatic, like strategic way. Like if you have a very powerful freehold that's generating a lot of gold, you could go about hiring your own guild for wars, mercenaries, etc., etc. And so there's a bunch of influences in this game that I think are very interesting, to where you don't have to be good at PvP. You can have influence through money, like fucking real life. And so I thought those things were interesting as well. So I can go on a little bit in more detail about the other things while you think about it. But yeah, it's, in my opinion, it is a very detailed idea. I think it's great because it rewards skill. So if you are a skilled business person, like you're not rewarded for being first. You're rewarded for being good at what you do. And so in other games in the past, in these like relatively similar types of systems, the first person to own it can sometimes just keep it. It doesn't get destroyed, doesn't get whatever. They can sell it, or they keep it for forever. And other players are locked out. This type of system is like, hey, you may have started the game 2 months later. You may have started much, much later. You're way behind everybody else. But you can catch up. If this is what you want, if this is what you set out you want to do, and you want to own one of these freeholds, obviously you have to take the side of the non-freehold owners. You have to be the opposer to the node. You then have to learn to attack the node. And so you build up, and you basically like, okay, I need to attack this. I need to destroy this so that I can own this thing. And that's what your goal is. If you're on the opposite side as a holder of one of these, if they attack your node, you're like, I need to recruit people to defend this. I need to defend this. I need to hire people. People need to show up to this war, because if they don't show up, I'm going to lose my shit. I need to be nice. I need to have diplomacy with people that know what they're doing about fighting. If I don't know about fighting, I have money. I might need to employ people, like these sorts of things. And so it's just fun to think about how people would act in these situations. And so yeah, we go through the whole thing, and the entire VOD I will download to Twitter, or to YouTube if you guys want to watch it in its entirety. I thought it was a lot of fun. If you guys enjoyed it, we will definitely do it again. But let's get to the culmination of what this is about. Would she be willing to give this game a try, knowing that always on PvP can randomly kill her while she's out farming gear or farming for resources? Knowing that the freeholds are rare and they're not something that you will have all the time, or even the vast majority of players will not have, knowing that there's a scarcity to this, knowing that this isn't the type of game that she would want to play, is this presentation enough of a lure to get her to want to at least try Ashes of Creation? Let me maybe put a bow on the entire thing in a yes or no answer. In a video game where it's a PvX environment, where players that are bigger than you can kill you, and it's a game that initially you wouldn't be interested in.
Okay.
From that perspective, since that is your perspective, are these types of systems interesting enough to where you would consider giving this game a try? Or is the fact that you can get killed by somebody in a PvP environment too much to overcome?
Yes, I would want to try this game.
Okay.
Yes. Knowing what I know from the front end, where you say, you know, it may not be regulated, but after they attack me and let's say they kill me, they have the back end.
Consequences.
Yeah, they have the back end. I'd be willing to do it for that.
And so, yeah, that sums it up, guys. Obviously, as anecdotal evidence, if one Carebear is willing to give it a try, every single person that is similar, you know, non-PvPers, every single PvPer will give this a try. This is an absolute smashing success. No, this is one person. I know this is one person. I just wanted to have a discussion, and I thought it'd be fun to talk to somebody else that's not interested in this game about a game that I am excited about. And basically see their opinion when you explain what the systems are, what the game is about, what they're trying to do, and see if that is a bigger influence over misinformation and incorrectly stating things. And so my belief is that I do think that there is a wider trough of people that will be interested in this game when it goes live than what a lot of people currently think. I think a lot of people see the always on PvX environment and they immediately shut their brain off and they go, nope, don't care. And they don't realize, you know, the intricate systems that they're trying to work and test. And yeah, they will be tested because there's Alpha 2 eventually, and then there's the beta afterwards, and then there's the live game. And the team's been listening to feedback so far. So unless they do a complete 180 from what they've been doing for the last year plus, I don't see why they won't continue to iterate and work on things that community members like. And so my point with this long-winded video is that, yeah, Ashes of Creation may not be for you. You know, lots of people have been saying this. Obviously, not every game is for every single person, but this game may be for more people than what people realize. And so, yeah, I'm going to end this video here. If you guys have any questions or comments, please provide in the section below, and I will do my best to answer it. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Have a nice day.